How's it going, everyone? Here to give you guys some updates on Digimon Story Time Stranger. Got a bit to talk about. We love taking a look at the numbers of this game, and boy, it feels like Digimon is back in a big way because while at this point it hasn't broken the concurrent JRPG player count on Steam, it's doing incredibly well, and on this Saturday, it has hit a brand new peak concurrent player count, and I think this is a lot higher than a lot of people were anticipating, so we'll talk about that. Unfortunately, not all good news, as after the release of the game, Bandai Namco has dropped some DLC for the game. Obviously, we talked the anime music pack, but there's another piece of DLC that you really don't want to see this becoming normalized in gaming in general, but Bandai Namco has done this before, and don't like to see it. I don't like the monetization aspect. I get it that you're gonna monetize this game, there's a season pass, etc., but there's a line here, and, you know, I feel like that line is being crossed a little bit, so we'll talk about that. And a couple of notes on some issues that people are having as far as transferring their save and receiving DLC and bonus content. Been seeing some people have issues with that. They put out a social media post about that. But off the top, I do want to go over the good. This game has hit 81,000 concurrent players on Steam. This game is a staggering success as far as this metric goes. I should say. Beyond that, we already know that physical copies of the game are selling out in Japan, and pre-orders did surpass Bandai Namco's expectations of how well this game was gonna do. I would say the promotional effort that's been tied to Digimon Story Time Stranger has paid off beautifully, and given that Japanese RPGs, when you talk about them on Steam, that is not gonna be the predominant place where people go to play this game. Especially in Japan, it's gonna be PlayStation 5. Even over here stateside, it's gonna be PlayStation 5, but the fact you're already cracking 80,000 concurrent players on Steam, and mind you, this was a $70 premium game for an IP that, while we do love Digimon, the hardcores were always going to check it out. You know, it's not the hottest IP in the world, although there is some real momentum, and I think given that Time Stranger is a worthwhile game, this is a foundation that we can absolutely build off of. I hope that it's not another 8 years for the next Digimon Story game. Let's keep it a little bit more consistent. I'm not saying a Digimon Story game every year or every other year even, but 3 to 4 years instead of 8 years. I think that would be a huge W, and you know, we've had the Digimon Survives of the world and Digimon World Next Orders and other games, but I would like to see a little bit of consistency, but also keep expectations in line. The Survives are never going to be as big as Time Stranger. The Digimon World Next Order, I don't think that would be as big as a Time Stranger. Time Stranger is a big budget, you could say AAA JRPG. It's certainly got a AAA price point and AAA quality price DLC, I should say, but you know, this is a big budget game that I understand they can't put out a game of this caliber every year, but Digimon, it does feel like it's back in a big way, and maybe it is a little bit of, oh, the absence makes the heart grow fonder, and that aspect, and if you did consistent Digimon releases, would that dilute the impact each Digimon game had? I don't know. If they're of quality, I think you can certainly build some momentum, and I think there's a lot that you could take away. Beat Break is starting as well, 49 episodes I'm hearing for that anime series. Hopefully that's worthwhile. Digimon is one of those IPs that it can be elevated via a lot of different properties. Time Stranger, gigantic success so far. Let's see how Beat Break turns out. Let's see what other Digimon content comes in the future, but right now it's looking very good, and that is an incredible start to the game. And I knew doing my videos, there was a point of contention about spending the $70 on Digimon Story Time Stranger. PC copy cheaper at Green Man Gaming, but there was definitely that point of contention where a lot of people did not want to spend $70. They had a level of interest in the game, but they didn't want to spend $70, and they're gonna wait for it to get discounted. I do believe that more and more people will check this game out as it goes on sale. It's just that $70 is gonna be a hard sell for any game really in today's economy. And while Digimon Story Time Stranger is a big game, it's coming out the same day as Ghost of Yotei. Borderlands 4 just came out, and those are marquee games that you're talking about Time Stranger competing with. And I will say this, I think an unsung point about all of this, Digimon Story Time Stranger came out the same week as Steam is running their autumn sale, so they're not getting the Steam promotional benefits either with like a banner or anything like that. Those elements mean a lot, and it's not like this game got the best critic reception in the world either. Right now sitting at a 78 on Metacritic, which is a totally serviceable score, but you know, looking at some of these scores these days, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit underrated, but that might be my Digimon bias shining through. Alright, like I said, not all good news as this has been getting a lot of criticism. Bandai Namco did drop the Digimon Story Time Stranger Outer Dungeons, The Halls of EXP Golden Materials DLC set for $7.99. You know how they're like super coy about this kind of stuff until the game actually comes out? They're not gonna tell you that they're selling these in-game grinding options and in-game speed boosters, I should say, until the game comes out, and they'll just quietly drop it, and they know that there's gonna be a level of people that buy the game, they're gonna play the game, and they want to speed up progress, that they'll buy it, and we hope the rest of the community doesn't really realize and lets this one slide. Look, it's very obvious what they're doing here. It's very obvious that that's the MO that they go for. Right now, this piece of DLC does have a 25% positive reception on Steam, and it's getting hated on social media, and rightfully so. When you're selling a $130 Ultimate Edition, or $120, excuse me. There's so many $120, $130 editions, but when you're selling that big of edition and then this is sold as a separate piece of DLC, look, I defended the anime music pack because I get that there's licensing agreements. Speed boosters, there are no licensing agreements tied to this. This is just greed shining through, and I get it. Make your money. You got a $120 special edition. Make your money. I am all for that. And if you got worthwhile content, game development is not cheap, but there's a point where I'm just like, okay, $7.90, another $8 for this, and you get experience items by defeating Digimon in the Outer Dungeon, the Hall of EXP, the Hall of Gold, where you get in-game currency, the Hall of Materials, and you know, I just feel like this should be something that should be a toggle option if you do buy the special edition, or, you know, some would argue that it should just be baked into the base game. So, hate seeing that, and it's becoming more and more common practice in games to have options like this. And remember that the issue with this is when you have things like this available, it can fundamentally alter the game development process, because when you're developing a game and you're like, hey, we're gonna drop this DLC, how do we design the game so it'll be playable, but we can also push people more and more to buying that piece of DLC? Do I think that happened with Time Stranger? No, but what I'm saying is it can absolutely get to that territory, and I absolutely believe, for example, the Assassin's Creed games have gotten to that territory where the game design is fundamentally altered to serve DLC, and you never want to be in that situation, and Bandai Namco inching closer into that territory, and again, you don't want to see that, and it's not just Bandai Namco, it's a lot of other publishers and developers as well. Lastly, I do want to note, if you have yet to start the game, save data transfer from the demo version. To transfer your progress from the demo version to the full version, you must use manually save data, and the autosave data cannot be transferred. So if you were just relying on the autosave, you can't be transferring your data. Go into the demo, create a manual save, and you'll be good to go. They also note, we are aware that in some cases, even when using manually saved data, players may encounter an error message stating that an unknown error has occurred. This issue may prevent the game from functioning as expected. They do have insights on how to resolve the issue, so I'll leave a link to that, but for some of you guys, you might, if those issues do persist, I'm sorry to tell you, you might have to restart the game, but it should be a reasonable fix for you guys. Lastly, DLC content. If you did get the special editions, how to receive DLC and bonus content. Purchase digital content can be received by downloading and installing the content. Once installed, launch the game and access the Digivice menu, then select items, inventory, item packs to claim your items. Check DLC on Steam, right-click on Digimon Story Time Stranger in your Steam library, then select properties and go to DLC. For PlayStation 5, from the home screen, highlight Digimon Story Time Stranger, press the options button, select manage game content, and some DLC such as costumes and BGM will be automatically granted. Please restart the game after installing any DLC. Some of you guys might like tab out of the PC release, buy the DLC, or go to the home menu, buy the DLC on PlayStation, and then just continue playing the game. You have to shut out of the game, reboot the game, and you should be good to go. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, the numbers on Steam, incredible so far for a game like this. You know, while it didn't break the record of Metaphor, still an incredible number to be at. And by the way, 1,700 Steam reviews, 83% positive, so pretty solid reception, all things considered. There are some of the negative reviews are tied to the monetization aspects of the game, so, you know, I can understand that. I think from a fundamental game quality standpoint, people are happy about it, but looking at that Outer Dungeons, the Halls of EXP, that DLC, nonsense to say the least. And some notes on making sure your game is working as intended. Links to everything in the description box below. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Your, feedback on the game, how you're liking it so far. Sound off down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.